here as Islam Makhachev, his future undeniably is in the Hall of Fame, one of the greatest lightweights of all time. No longer in the shadow of the...
And it's an entrance that's becoming almost iconic here at Cage Warriors. Ian Garry walking out to the Arctic Monkeys, are you mine? And I think that's a question that he asks himself every time he looks at the picture of the Cage Warriors welterweight title. I mean, if you believe everything that Ian Garry says, that belt's practically his already. Dan, is there any chance that this young man is overconfident, if anything?
Well, it's always a possibility, but you know, you don't get very far with a lack of confidence in this sport. And you know, when it comes to throwing punches, you need confidence to commit to those things. And Rustam Akman, you've got to bear in mind, he's coming off 2 losses. He's been released from the UFC. That's not going to do wonders for his confidence. He's stepping in there against an undefeated fighter that's coming in with all of this confidence oozing out of him. I mean, that alone will put pressure on Rustam Akman because he knows he has to perform tonight. Gary's expected to perform.
Well, we've seen him be nothing but successful here on Cage Warriors in recent years. Put together a phenomenal record, and the wins just get a little bit more.
One of the greatest lightweights of all time. No longer in the shadow of Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's remarkable the body of work he has put forth in the octagon this far.
It's so hard to beat Islam Makhachev because the expectation was on him from day one to be great. He's done it. He's done it time and time again. He's exceeded the expectation. And that's because he has all the skills. Great wrestling. Great striking. The man can do it all inside the octagon, and that is why.
And of course, the late great Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov not here, but front of mind for all of these athletes and those here tonight. Islam Makhachev steps inside the octagon. He is ready to fight. And tonight with a chance, DC, not only to defend this belt for a 3rd time, but to do something that his mentor and brother Khabib Nurmagomedov never did, which is to say win a 14th fight inside the octagon.
Yeah, win 14 fights inside the octagon and like 13 in a row. He is quickly becoming one of the guys to be considered the greatest lightweight of all time. He has all the skills. He's a tremendous wrestler, tremendous grappler, but it's his striking that I think separates him from most. He's a really high-level striker, the guy that carries a ton of confidence. I remember being in the gym with this kid from the very first day, and it always felt like an eventuality.
It's a hard fight for Ian Garry. It's a hard fight for Islam Makhachev. I believe that this fight will be determined by what happens in the beginning of the fight. If Garry is able to stay upright for the first round, it could be a long night for Islam. But if Islam is able to secure takedowns early or get close to Ian Garry, I believe that then the fight will start to sway in his side. I was watching a video recently where John Jones was speaking about him and I's relationship and talking about, you know what, Luis, just play it.
There is not a circumstance where Islam's not going to show up, including if he gets hurt. There's not a circumstance where Gary's not going to make that walk. This is one fight where we do not know. It's like gut reaction, my own feeling. It does not feel like we need a backup fighter, but we have one. And I am just curious. I genuinely, this is not take with a grain of salt. I am genuinely curious. If you have an idea, if you've observed something that I'm missing, tell me. I wish we always had a backup fighter. But more often than not, we don't. It's very rare that we have a backup fighter, as a matter of fact.
He's 6 feet 3 inches. He's undefeated in the UFC except once. And in exactly 2 weeks, he steps into the octagon to fight the most dominant grappler in the sport for the welterweight title. This is the story of how Ian Machado Garry is training to dethrone Islam Makhachev. And trust me, what he's been doing behind closed doors is wild. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're breaking down Ian Machado Garry's fight camp ahead of you, one of the most talked about title fights of the year. Garry versus Makhachev isn't just a fight. It's being called Ireland versus Dagestan. Striker striker versus grappler, and the internet won't stop comparing it to McGregor versus Khabib. So let's get into exactly what the future is doing to prepare for the biggest night of his career. For those who don't know the background, Ian Machado Garry is currently the #2 ranked welterweight in the UFC, sitting at an incredible 17 wins and just 1 loss. That lone defeat came against Shavkat Rakhmonov by decision, and since then, Garry has been on an absolute tear. He bounced back in a huge way, handing Carlos Prates his first ever UFC loss, and then followed it up by beating former champion.
Because of the styles, I think Islam Makhachev have maybe more ways to win the fight. So if I'm just thinking rational, according to the odds, I think it favors Makhachev. But Ian Garry definitely has all the chance also on his side to do it. He's a very good striker. He's very long. He's great grappler as well. But he need, I think, to find a way to keep the fight standing, and to use his style to his own advantage. But Islam Makhachev is, stylistically, he's a freaking nightmare to fight for anyone. He's, I think, right now, the best pound for pound on the planet.
And Belal Muhammad by unanimous decision in Doha. That win over Belal is really what sealed his case for a title shot. Now he's booked to challenge Islam Makhachev, the man who just took the welterweight belt off Jack Della Maddalena, for the title at UFC 330 on August 15, 2026 in Philadelphia. And this fight is being talked about as Makhachev's very first defense of that 170-pound crown. Here's where it gets interesting. Everyone knows what did Garry do to prepare. He packed his bags and flew to the country of Georgia, a nation with one of the deepest wrestling traditions on the planet, specifically to sharpen his takedown defense and grappling before this fight. Naturally,
there's no use of talking about him as a potential opportunity or a matchup. So if he beats him, then, definitely we can run it, for the next show, the year anniversary in Cleveland, Ohio for RAF 12.
Speaking of you being the former interim welterweight champion of the UFC, next UFC card, they have Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Garry. Who do you favor in that?
I favor Makhachev for sure. I think he's just going to take him down and dictate his pace and put the fight where he wants to fight. He's too strong for that little twig, that little cuck that sits in the corner and watches his wife get dogged out by the nutritionist. So, I got Islam. Islam ain't doing that cuck shit.
Garry's been working with head coach Diego Lima at Shoebox since 2023, and Lima has been extremely vocal about believing in his fighter. He said Garry has the complete package to sell a fight. But more importantly, Lima has reportedly told Garry directly to prepare like he's walking into a war, not just another 5-round decision. That mentality shift matters. This isn't Garry chasing a highlight reel finish. This is a full training camp built around survival, durability, and grinding through adversity, because everyone knows.
Has Ian any different than your past opponents? Because obviously he's very tall, he's very rangy, he can make the fight slow if he wants to. What do you make of his skill set?
His skills, I just have to run in this camp too much because I have to follow him because he runs too much. I know his game plan. We always see his fight, and he has same style always. But I will try to catch him, take him down. Just what I did with my all opponents.
He's done a lot of his camp, obviously, with Charles Oliveira. He's trained a lot. Is there anything Charles can tell him about you that you're worried about?
Yeah, Charles is gonna teach him how to tap fast. That's it.
Garry's height, reach, and rangy striking style, because they've reportedly brought in welterweight Joel Alvarez specifically to replicate Garry's look and movement in sparring. Alvarez has strikingly similar physical stats to Garry, and the idea is simple. Get her. Physically, Garry has real advantages here. He stands 6 feet 3 inches with a 74-inch reach, giving him a real range advantage over most welterweights. He's also fighting with a chip on his shoulder, having spent months needling Makhachev online for the delays in getting this fight. He's made it clear he wants a finish that leaves no doubt, not a lucky shot, not a split decision.
Well, Islam, he's fighting next UFC 330 next month against Ian Machado Garry. You're good at predictions, so who do you got in that fight?
I got Islam.
How?
It's a tough fight. I think it's a submission.
Submission?
But I gotta rewatch Ian Garry's fight because I don't know him very well. People saying he has a good takedown defense.
Yeah, so we'll rewatch and come back to that.
So because I know everything in my division.
Yeah.
But I don't know a lot of people in 170, so I cannot say. But Islam right now he's the best, so it's a little bit hard to beat him.
How would you grade this?
Is going to be very important for him. I do think, though, once he's able to get Ian Garry on the ground. You know, I don't think it's going to happen round one. If he does, it's possible, but I think he's going to have to break him down bit by bit. And then as Ian Garry starts to get frustrated and, you know, the mistakes start to happen, that's where I think Islam Makhachev can capitalize on the ground with a submission. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take excellent execution of strategy and tactics. So I think because of that, Ian Garry is not an easy out at all. Just because Islam has a huge advantage on the ground, size does matter, as you said, John.
He wants to make a statement. And there's a personal layer to this story too. Garry fights under the name Machado as a tribute to his wife's family. He added it so his kids wouldn't grow up with 2 different surnames in the household. It's a small detail, but it shows this isn't just a fighter chasing a paycheck. This is someone building a legacy for his family. So here's the real question. Can Ian Garry's size, reach, and newly sharpened wrestling defense be enough to survive Islam Makhachev for 25 minutes? Or does the most dominant grappler in the UFC find a way to smother him and retain the title? Drop your prediction in the comments. Garry by decision or Makhachev retains. Smash that like button if you're locked in for UFC 330. Subscribe for the full breakdown before fight night, and I'll see you in the next one.